extra ones. All right, hello everyone. I am Greg Thomas, aka the Hands of Zeus, aka Achilles Arms, aka Platinum Macaroni. You can pretty much call me any of those names. Bugatti Biceps, Black Tony Stark, I go by all those. But so we're gonna talk about diversity and how to hack it. What we're here for? To answer the question, where are the minorities? Besides in front of you talking. Why are tech companies struggling with diversity in hiring? Seriously, where are all the minorities? And currently right now the tech force is 5% Latino, 4% black, and very pale for the rest of us. It's just very monochromatic. So about me, I'm black. I grew up in Cabrini Greens, West Side and South Side Chicago. Served in the Marines for 5 years, worked as a nurse for almost 3, and worked in IT for 2 years professionally. So here are the ground rules. No one is blaming anyone in this room for institutionalized racism besides Jamie. He's definitely responsible. We have a burden from our past actions of people in the past that basically we all have a burden. You have black man's burden where I can't do what Dave Kennedy does and walk into a store and steal 10 grand worth of stuff with a POS system. They watching me from the moment I enter. They have dialed 9-1 and got their finger ready for that second one. Okay? I can't do that. That's my burden. If you're white, your burden is you're going to be probably deemed an asshole till you prove otherwise. It is what it is. We all got our struggles. There are benefits that are enjoyed by the majority that grants a level of privilege and ignorance on the subject of diversity, because it's like when men tell women, like, well, no one's ever sexually harassed me at work. Well, yeah, no one's trying to sexually harass you at work. You look like a troll. So, it's a level of ignorance just by being in the majority or having a level of privilege that you're just not going to experience certain things and certain pressures. And you have to understand that. It's an ignorance that we all have ignorances on our parts. It's not a bad thing to not know things. It's a bad thing when you don't know something and think you do or have no intention of improving your knowledge set and trying to have a level of learning and understanding about it. I don't speak for every minority. I just speak for myself. Maybe this guy. I am here as a guide and an ambassador. So I am your black ambassador to all things blackness. So if you have any questions, I will answer them. And no, Iggy Azalea does not count as a rapper. Neither is Macklemore, is not the first person with something to say. So here's the beginning. The majority Hispanic and majority black schools on average in major cities are overcrowded as shit, and it sucks. Sucks ass. The computers really suck if they even exist. I literally walked into a school 2 years ago that still has Apple IIes. They're playing Oregon Trail in the hood, people. Well played. The schools are more segregated now than they were when we desegregated schools. Like, think about that. Like, the things have become more segregated, and it's more of an income disparity thing, which we're going to address. And then another thing is, I teach kids that are between 10 and 13. I didn't know what I do now for a living, for most of us do for a living, was a job till I was in my mid-20s. Most black people I come across, my relatives, when I tell them what they do, they didn't even know my job existed as a field. Like, people did this. Like, that was a thing. Besides, they didn't know people use computers besides Excel and Word and PowerPoint and whoever made that stuff. They thought that was made like 20 years ago, and it's just been sitting there. So next slide. Here's the racial wealth gap. White people, y'all got the goddamn money. In your pocket. The shit. Asian people, y'all got some of the white people money. Sriracha is delicious. Hispanics, y'all got a little bit, and then black people, we ain't got shit. I mean, let's be honest. That's $4,000 as a household wealth. Some of y'all got laptops that cost more than that. I've seen some of y'all rig setups. Y'all can buy black people. Wait, not like that. But y'all can buy a black household. Wait, that don't really sound better either. That was probably worse. We just gonna move on. So, society, 1 in 15 black males and 1 in 36 Hispanic males are incarcerated versus 1 in 106 white males. As in, black people go to jail, Hispanic people go to jail, sort of, and white people, y'all just run around and steal $10,000 worth of shit out of stores and no one stops you. Ethnic names on resumes get thrown out and overlooked by recruiters in tech. I've had recruiters that have said, like, yeah, there's no way Shaniqua could be programmer. There's no way Trayvon could be a developer. So they throw those resumes out without even looking at them. A black male with a college degree has an equal chance as a white male with a criminal record on average when it comes to interviewing. So you can be a white felon and just got out of prison and you have the same opportunity. You have a better opportunity than me because I only got an associate's degree from a community college for nursing. So it was like a party with books. When I say hacker, there's really no examples in popular culture that looks like black people that can point to it besides Leverage, but no one watched TNT, but TNT does no drama. Who? No one watches that in the hood, man. Who? No one watches that either. Ving Rhames and Mission Impossible, I would have gave you that. No, black people don't even know what 2600 is, unless it's liquor. That sounds like some liquor. Is it like 1800 but better? I don't know what any of that is. There's the black dude on Leverage, and if somebody else says I remind them of the black dude on Leverage, see you outside, because I love that show. I got to see you outside anyway, because my bag is in your car. Arrest rates for marijuana possession. White people smoke more weed than black people, but yet, as you can see by the black bars, they coming for us. Because they can afford it, right? Who? Yeah. But we selling it to y'all, and then we getting arrested for it. While y'all standing there smoking it like, I think that's kind of racist, officer. So that's what racism looks like. People think racism is a hood or a dude coming in with a KKK hood just running his fingers across my keyboard while I'm trying to type. That's such an invented version of racism. Racism, when it comes to institutional, is a set of just principles and things that have been ingrained in society over generations and decades of just under the table dealings where you just subconsciously and consciously favor people from your culture and your race when it comes to hiring practices and discriminatory practices and following people in the store and stuff like that. And a lot of people who aren't part of the minority don't notice that because they've never been following the store, so you wouldn't notice if somebody was in the first place or if they were following someone else. Unless your boss came to you and was like, hey, follow that black guy because I don't like him. So this is what most people think is racism. Yeah, some people can see that Call of Duty tag. That's y'all white kids. That's what y'all do when y'all 12. They just make little stuff like that. Or don't read nig in 2012 or about. That didn't even make any sense. Like, look, white people, this is y'all people, so y'all got to explain what that means, because I don't get it. Because if you play spades, reneging means you play a spade, and then that means you said you didn't have another spade, but you then played another card that you said you didn't have. That makes no sense in the context of anything. So you're basically trying to get away with saying nigga with not saying it. Just say it. Be honest. Say nigga. If you came to me and said nigga, I'd be like, all right, he's a racist, but I respect his honesty. This paint says skin tone base. Whose skin tone is that color? Yours, actually. Yours. I can't point at you. If you type in why are black and that's what you get. The first 4 results. Why are black people so loud? Why are black people black? Why are black people called spooks? And why are we so lazy? I don't have an answer for two of those. I'll let you guess which two. Oh, this Activia commercial where they got the two white women holding their white stomachs and then a black woman holding a white stomach. And no one saw that. No one caught that. Because apparently we have white stomachs. Recruitment issues. I was speaking with Edie Adams, who's a recruiter at Hallock, a friend of mine. She just told me about recruiters throwing out resumes, and we talked about that, but that was just a quote. The network. Most people grow up, go to school, and live in racially segregated neighborhoods. If you live in the suburbs, chances are most people who live in the suburbs tend to be white. If you live in the hood, most people tend to be black or Hispanic. Neighborhoods are racially segregated. So you go to school, you grow up, and you socialize with those people. So if you're a black guy, and most people you grow up with are black, you went to a black school, and you went to school without computers, what are your chances of knowing a group that's composed primarily of white people and getting in and having that as a network? Not high. So if your boss, if our boss asks us, you got to answer this question honestly in your head. If your boss said, hey, we got an open position, do you know anybody who wants this job? Think about the race of the first three people that pop in your head. Are they the same race as you? Yay or nay? Oh, see, everybody silent knows the truth. You got two naysayers because y'all just want to troll me. That's white, man. This ain't 1890. This ain't a bar that says we don't serve Irish because it smell like potatoes. This ain't this, okay? Don't compare Irish having 20 years of not being able to work as a police officer to being slaves for 400 years. You could be Obama, but I'm not. So what do we end up with? Engineering and coding culture is highly masculinized and heterosexualized. Corporate homogeneity and educational segregation lead to the dominance of white males at all levels of computational technology enterprises. This is despite the fact that women dominate university admissions, engineering and computer science are still very much all male bastions. And that is from an assistant professor at the University of Iowa. And most of the top software companies in the world hire from the top universities, which means they have comparatively tiny minority fields, so comparatively tiny minorities are going to get hired. I don't know if anybody watches Silicon Valley. And the one guy who runs the company made a point. It was like, you ever notice that you get the two white guys, the East Asian guy, and the two Indian guys, and they roam in packs. Notice now nobody ever said a black guy or anything like that. I've watched that show. I have yet to see a single black person on an entire show. Which makes sense. Like, I didn't even get offended because I'm like, well, I'm usually the only black person at all my events, so, you know, if I didn't show up, that's what it would look like. 1% of VC-backed internet seed and Series A companies have a black founder, while 83% are all white male. Y'all don't like women, man? What's going on? You don't like the ladies? They do so much good work. Who was the one that was a transsexual that invented shell code or something? Like women, most of the stuff. Yes, I'm asking everybody. Everybody should know. Okay, well, who was the woman that invented shell code or something? Huh? Yes, there you go. They out there. Why is it always all white male? Right, 6. You can't count. Right, who's the minority? And I can answer that for you. The effects, HP. And now let's talk about that. We're going to get to that question and your answers. HP launched a new face tracking webcam. Guess what face it can't sense? Mine. Or his. Look, I'm not Dave Kennedy. I'm not stealing $10,000 shit. I don't need to worry about being on camera. My hands are in my pockets. Black identifying names when typed into Google are 25% more likely to be served with an arrest-related ad. So even if you've never been arrested, it'll pop up with an ad saying, hey, want to run this black dude background check? Dead serious. It's hilarious a little bit. Pattern recognition by VCs and tech companies that are used to predict success tend to bear out only one kind of person: white males. From top universities, they either dropped out or graduate or were recommended by their professors. Those are the guys they chose to give money to. They were like, well, Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs, so, the white guys who went to top universities must be the guys we only give money to. Right. That's a terrible data set, and that's stupid. It's a terrible predictor of a success. It's a self-predicting predictor of a success. If all you give money to is white males and then a few white males out of those white males succeed, you can't then use that data to say, well, only white males succeed because you never gave anybody else money. Well, if they cared about, I'm going to disagree with you on that, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I've had jobs that have turned me down to hire white guys who couldn't do the job half as well as I could. And you know why I know they couldn't do the job half as well as I could? Because I trained the guys that they hired. VCs. Right. If you only gave money historically for like the past 200 years of investing to white people and then go, only white people can be successful, so we're going to keep that process based upon 200 years of historical data that was based in racism and social racism. We're not giving money to people who just got the ability to vote. My grandmother was voted for the first time in her life the same age I am now. My grandmother's still alive. So that means there are people out there that still remember when they couldn't vote. They could drink before they couldn't vote. So you're not giving your money to people who couldn't vote. So if you have that kind of data, and that's the data they're tracking, they're not going by the past 5 years. And even then, you have to think about the people who have money are older when it was okay to be racist and all that stuff. You have Donald Sterling's are the ones with the billions of dollars. So they're choosing who they invest in. And if they're choosing based upon their preconceived biases, guess what? It's a self-repeating situation. It has nothing to do with ideas or anything like that. Research by analyst firm Catalyst shows that companies with the highest proportion of women board directors outperform those with the lowest proportions by 53%. They have a 42% higher return on sales and 64% higher return on invested capital. That's numbers for your ass. That's what happens when you stop being racist and start investing in people with a diverse set of skills, like being black, or a woman, or both, or a Latina woman who hangs out with black people. There you go. Or there you go. That's it. The income gap resulting in part from racism cost the United States about $1.9 trillion a year. So you basically go, that black guy is a good idea, but black. So we're not going to give money. That costs everyone money. And you'd be surprised how many people let their preconceived biases get in the way of making money. I have seen it a million times where people are like, well, I don't like the guy, so, because, he talks crazy, so I'm not going to invest in his idea and miss out on paper. It happens. We can point out stories throughout history of just Apple and Microsoft. People didn't want to invest because they're like, well, that guy's an ass or that guy's weird, and missed out on making billions of dollars because of their preconceived biases and prejudices against people. People let their emotions get in the way of making money all the time. That's an ad for Nivea, where it says re-civilize yourself, and then a black guy with a nicely cut hair is holding a head with an afro. Throwing it. Oh, Nivea is also the company that makes about $2 billion a year selling skin lightening cream in Africa to make black people, and makes ads that tell black people to, if you lighten your skin, you'll get a better job. If you look more white, you'll get a better job. That's Nivea for you. But they make really good facial cream. Well, this is Intel, where a white guy standing a whole bunch of runners. Yeah. So, and no one ever faked. That's what happens. We have a marketing department with a whole bunch of 20-year-old white kids from Yale, and no black guy goes, you know what? Yeah. The solution, I don't really got an answer, honestly. I'm not that smart. But I have been black almost 30 years. So, I got that going for me. And it gives me a little bit of an insight about how I would do things if I was like the dictator of Earth / Kim Jong-un of the hood. Hello. Tools for success, what you shouldn't do. Leave the cultural, racial, gender questions at home. Don't ask women about the periods while you're at work. That doesn't make good lunch conversation. Don't ask her, like, what's the best tortilla shell to use? Even though she'll probably tell you, actually, but not everyone's going to take that okay. Don't quote a famous minority to silence another minority. Don't go, if I go, you know what? I want to punch that white dude in the face for being racist. Don't go, well, Martin Luther King Jr. said, because then I'm going to punch you in the face. Don't police how minorities in your company speak out about injustices committed about them in the field. If I go, man, I went to this field, and then they were asking me, do I even belong here? Do I, I'm constantly being asked if I have a badge on, and you're like, they never asked me if I had a badge on. I'm like, yeah, this is fucked up. Don't go, well, be quiet because these people run this, and I'll get up on stage and interrupt somebody talking, but like, fuck everybody. So, but you can't control that. Some people, you have to. It's a thing. It's really hard to explain. Basically, it's like every day you see the police following you, or you get followed inside of a store. You could be dressed to the nines in a $3,000 suit, and some dude who's clearly homeless, white guy who's clearly homeless, they follow you around even though you're in a suit in Walgreens like you're finna steal some Chico sticks. Versus the homeless dude is just white homeless dude just stuffing all types of shit in his pockets, but they following you around because black people steal. So it's just stuff like that, and it's something you have to learn to adjust to. It's never anything you get used to. It's something you just have to learn to live with. And people process that in certain ways. Some people process it by not even acknowledging it exists. You got your Al Sharptons, you got your MLKs, you got your Charlie Murphys. You got different people who basically address racism and how it affects their lives in different ways. And to go, well, this black person addressed it this way, so you have to address it the way this person you've never met before should, because this way makes me comfortable and the way you do it makes me uncomfortable. Because that's what it boils down to. It boils down to a level of comfort. And there's no promises in the world that anyone's going to be comfortable with anything. I know I'm not. I know a lot of people aren't. Life is about being uncomfortable and using that uncomfortable feeling to learn more about yourself and learn more about the world around you. It is not okay to lean on the class of people who are oppressed or who are the minority to solve your system or your discomfort with it. Like, don't come to me and like, hey, let's solve racism. I'm not oppressing nobody. You should talk to your people. I don't got nothing to do with that. So yeah, like that's really weird when people ask me that. Like, well, how would you solve racism? I don't know. What you shouldn't do. If you have to precede any statement with, I'm not racist, but insert fucked up statement about race. Or you follow any fucked up statement with, but I'm not racist though. You believe there needs to be a White History Month.
11 months of the year.
Thank you. Yeah, this guy.
I apologize for my ancestors having good metallurgy skills.
Hey, I own a kilt. Wait, that was Scottish. Never mind, I'm sorry. I could get all y'all white people look alike. Yes. Yes. Yes, it actually is. There's 5 of us. It's a perfect number. You try to explain away your racism with, well, everyone's racist. No, everyone is not. No, everyone goes, you know what? Definitely gonna hire the black. I would never hire a black person just because they're black. I'd hire a black person because they're black and they're cool, but not just because they're black. It's more of a cool thing than a black thing. If you're white, you're cool. I may give you an honorary black card. You frequently refer to people of color as ghetto. That's another thing. Stop referring to shit as ghetto. Don't refer to a server as ghetto, a goddamn switch as ghetto. Don't refer to any of that shit as ghetto. Because guess what? I grew up in the worst projects of the country for half my life, and I never saw not one server, not one switch, not one router, not one goddamn modem. I never seen any of that shit in the hood, ever. We can go to any hood you want. We can go, what is the worst part of Cleveland? The east side? We can go to east side Cleveland like, hey, y'all got any ghetto servers? Guess what? They don't. They don't fucking exist. God damn it, Adrian. On allies, I have reached a regrettable conclusion that the Negro's great stumbling block in his stride towards freedom is not the white citizen's counselor or the Ku Klux Klanner, but the white moderate who is more devoted to order than to justice, who prefers a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace in which the presence of justice, who constantly says, I agree with you with the goal you seek, but I cannot agree with your methods of direct action, who paternalistically believes that he can set the timetable for another man's freedom, who lives by the mythical concept of time and constantly advises the Negro to wait for a more convenient season. Shallow understanding from the people of goodwill is more frustrating than an absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than outright rejection. So basically, don't tell me, hey, I'm on your side, but could you not talk about the race thing till like next year, because we got our hiring numbers and we trying to get this guy. Like, if you're going to be one way, be one way. If you're going to be the other way, be the other way. If you're going to be racist, show up to work in a Ku Klux Klan hood. Let me know where we stand from day one. That makes me happy. If you're going to be on my side and be an ally and help me fight for diversity, and help me fight for diversity. Not diverse in the sense that let's just hire random black people till the numbers are right, but let's make sure we do it from the jump. Let's make sure the schools are right from the start, that kids get the same opportunities from the jump. They get the same schools. They get the same teaching. They get the same opportunities. They get the same internships. They get the same high schools. They get the same quality of teachers. And that way, when it does come to hiring time and you hire someone, you know you hired the best. You didn't hire the best who had the best opportunities. You didn't hire the best who had the best connections. You didn't hire the best who had the best network. You hired the best who was the best for the job, who can get the job done. That's what you want. So, tools for success. Depends on the avenues available for you, your department, division, company. If you work for a Fortune 50 company, you should be doing a lot more. You shouldn't be like, I'm not going to name the social media company that held a diversity recruitment thing, and they hashtagged the diversity, but held their recruitment drive in the whitest part of San Francisco that had no access to public transportation. And they had 50 people there, and not a single minority was in the picture of all the people that they were recruiting. That's not commitment to diversity. If you want to be diverse, you have to go to where the people are. I can name 5 people right now who work in computer shops in, the west side and south side of Chicago who are making $9 an hour, who could probably put together service faster than any of us blindfolded, just because of that's how good they are. But they don't have that network, that next connection, that next step to go from, I can do this, I can find viruses on Windows 7, I can reinstall a Windows server with my eyes closed, I can do everything like that, but they don't know who to talk to next, where to go, who's hiring, what companies even hired for that to move on to the next part of their career. There's a lot of outreach that needs to happen, a lot of internships. Don't just do internships because, this is the CTO's son, so we're giving him an internship. Actually choose your internships, but who's the most deserving of the internship, and who could benefit the most from the internship as well. Trade a degree. How many people have degrees in computer science or in anything IT related? That's less than half of us. How many people got art degrees or weird ass theater degrees or something like that? Quite a few people, see? Exactly. Half as many people has got computer science degrees, and yet we're all in here, we're all equals. How many have none? Yeah. Who's the people with none? Yeah, I like you guys. Meritocracy or networking. We claim to be a meritocracy, but how many of us got jobs through people we knew? Like you knew somebody at the job that was hiring, or somebody knew somebody. It was a friend or a friend of a friend. Well, there you go. Or they just like you. You're a great person. Or maybe I'm black. That's work too. Soft skills versus hard skills. How many people do we know that actually have all the hard skills in the world? They are just impressive, but super antisocial and don't like going to cons, don't like talking to anybody, don't do any of that. How many of us know somebody like that? Almost everybody. Almost everybody knows somebody like that could be doing amazing things in their career if they would just go out and talk to people. You got to have both. And some people, it's easier to teach the hard skills than to teach the soft skills. Some people are naturally gifted with soft skills, but you can teach hard skills to most people. So that's another thing. We need to focus on teaching people in IT that are here the soft skills in order to take their career to the next level and to reach out and talk to people and not only look up for a hand up, but also have a hand out to help the next person up. Call to action. Yes, I am a criminal. My crime is that of curiosity. My crime is that of judging people by what they say and think, not what they look like. My crime is that of outsmarting you, something that you will never forgive me for. This was by the mentor in the Hackers Manifesto. We should all remember that in how we look at other hackers and other IT professionals, that we don't need to look at what they look like, what their beliefs are. All we need to know is that they were united in one goal: to have a more secure planet, a better developed planet, and the best people. We work with the best people who are the most passionate and most driven in our fields. Thanks for your time.
Cleveland Heights High School. Cleveland Heights is a little less than 2/3 black. Right. Cleveland Heights High School is about 80%. If I go into Cleveland Heights High School and I want to talk to kids about careers in technology, all the